Today we are going to actually do some strengthening. They have been so beneficial and for many populations, including young individuals, all the way up to our seniors. I've had a bunch of seniors that have done the squats that I am going to show you guys today. And one, it lets them feel safer at home, that if they are in a situation where they may fall, helping them get up off the floor. It has helped them get stronger in that situation. It's also helped them be able to get outside and garden, to be able to squat and have the strength to do that. As well as we age, we do get weaker. And so it helps them get on and off the toilet as well. So these exercises can be very helpful for our seniors, but also our younger population, including runners, hikers, or just the recreational athlete, or anyone that wants to be active and be doing things outside in regards to gardening or hiking. It has been very beneficial for those of our clients that do struggle with knee pain as well as back pain and pelvic and hip pain. So these exercises are great for a wide range of individuals. So the items that you will need for today, or may need, if you have a TheraBand at home, some people over time will want to use this. It's not necessary, but it can be very beneficial for those individuals with hip or pelvic issues as well as knee issues. So if you have a TheraBand, all you need to do is just tie a knot, and I will show you how to use that in a moment. Some other things that you may want is a sturdy chair, and or you can do this next to your countertop in the kitchen. So I will show you many modifications and things that you can use for those, depending upon where you are in your squats. We're going to have some individuals that have done squats before and they just want to enhance their technique. We also are going to have individuals that have never done these before. And so I'm going to take you through step by step the steps that I teach for people to help them navigate through on how to do this exercise appropriately. I'm going to first show you kind of some of the things that I find individuals doing in squats that we want to correct. And so, okay. So some of the first things that I see from individuals is, I'm going to show you my knees as I'm squatting. If you are weak through your outer glutes, a lot of times when people go into a squat, they're going to find that their knees buckle in. And so that is something that is always very concerning to me. It can cause a lot of strain in through the knee, so it can impact the knee, but it also can impact up through the pelvis and the hip. And that's usually because people are weak through here. So this is where our band is going to come in helpful. If you have a band at home, that's great. If you don't, you're just going to have to be very, very mindful of where your knee position is. The other common thing that I see with individuals when they're doing squats is, and this is why I like to have a chair, is those individuals that when they've done squats before, they keep their bum tucked under and they let their knees go over their toes. And so they kind of squat down like this. That's putting a lot of strain on the knees. And so we're going to want to get your butt more backwards. And when people start to actually go into a correct squat, they actually tend to a lot of times lose balance because they're not used to their weight going back. So what I like to do is have those individuals have a countertop in front of them so that they feel safe holding on to, but you have a chair behind you so that if you do lose your balance when you're starting to come back, that you can come back and sit down so you don't fall down. And so when you first start out doing squats, you may want to have a chair this way so that you do have a place for your butt to rest in case you do lose your balance. But you also want to have support in the front. For those of you that have done squats before but just need a little bit of balance support, you can have your counter or your chair this way so that when you go back into squats, you can just have a resting point as needed for support. I'm not going to be able to be watching you guys. I wish I could, but I'm going to ask you to just be very mindful of how you're doing these. If you obviously have any questions, concerns, anything like that, you can always email us, or you can put in a comment in this post, and I'd be happy to get back to you and help you kind of enhance that technique. So I'm going to show you without the band first, and then I will add the band in as needed. So number one thing is we are going to want our feet about hip width apart. Some people do like to go a little bit wider. I don't necessarily want people very wide when you're doing your squats. So just at hip width or just a little bit wider. You can have your toes out slightly. I don't want them very far out. So you want them almost neutral or just turned out very slightly. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this. We're going to break this down into multiple steps. So the first one that we're going to do is helping you just get down into the squat. And then once we get that technique, then we will add the next step in. So feet about hip width apart. Hands are resting on a support if you need them. Have that chair behind you if you haven't really done these before. And what we're going to do is our weight is going to transfer backward and our butt is going to go back out. And you can see when I go down, my knees are staying over my toes. They're not translating forward. So you just want to start getting that butt backward. Now when people start getting their butt back, the other thing that I tend to see a lot of times is when they go back, they start to drop their head and their chest down. So we want to reference our chest or our breasts, and we always want to be keeping them facing forward. So we're going to squat down and then back up. Now I've been doing these for years, so you can see that I'm able to go almost down to parallel. When you first start this, you may only get this far. That is perfectly fine. And then come on back up. It's whatever range is comfortable for you. So go within that range that you feel safe and comfortable. So let's just do that a couple more times. Getting comfortable bringing our butt back and then back up. Now here's where I want you to be really mindful of what are your knees doing. As you're going back, are your knees buckling in? If you're feeling your knees buckling in, this is where we can use our band. If you have it, and you want the band to be wide, and you want it to be above your knees. And so now when I go back, I'm not pushing out, but I'm just keeping slight tension in that band. So as I go down, it's going to force me to be engaging in through my outer hips as I come on down. You can see how my knees are staying nice and neutral. I'm not letting them come in. Okay? So now that we've gotten the down motion, let's go ahead and work on getting back up. Now this is where I tend to do this a little bit differently than how other people are taught or do it. And so I like to rely a lot on pressing into the feet. What I find a lot of times with individuals is they're very strong through the front side, through our quads, our hip flexors, but we tend to be very weak through our back, through the glutes. So this is going to help you be able to fire and get those glutes firing. So what we're going to do is, right before we go to get back up, our foot is on the ground. We're going to imagine kind of right through that mid part of the foot and our whole foot pressing into the ground, pressing us back up. So most of you are probably feeling a lot of quad. I don't know if you are feeling glute at this time, but remember we're bringing our butt back. Now right before we go back up, we're going to press our feet into the ground to get us back up, which we should be starting to feel hamstring and glute firing. So again, we're going to go down, press our feet into the floor to get us back up. Remember the butt is going back, chest is up, Press into the floor to get you back up. I hope you're starting to feel some glute, some hamstring firing. If you aren't, play around with where you're pressing your foot into the ground. A lot of people I find over the years also have differences left to right, where one side is more engaging than the other. You want this to be as equal as you possibly can. Now, the next step that we're going to add in is our breath. So breathing during squats, I feel, is very important. When you add breathing in, you can get enhancement in your core activation, which is going to be really important for this technique. And most of us have core weakness and core instability. So what we're going to do is we are going to inhale on our way down, and right before we press to go back up, we're going to exhale. But I'm going to encourage you to do it with a pursed lips, almost like you're blowing bubbles through a straw, or you're blowing petals off of a flower. So you're just going to inhale and what I want to be feeling is your core coming on at that time. Okay. So let's just focus on the breath. We're going to be inhaling on the way down. Pause here. And what we're going to do is now blow out through pursed lips, pressing the feet into the floor to come on back up. Inhale down. Press the feet in the floor, blow. On the way back up. So one more, let's put it all together. We are going to, again, inhale on the way down. Bottom is going back. Knees are staying over the toes. Blow out through pursed lips. Press those feet into the floor and come on back up. So these are all the steps to take when doing squats. Now I know there's a lot of steps to it, so what I encourage you to do at home, watch this video back and just take yourself through each step until you feel comfortable with that step, and then progress and add in the second step. So what we're going to do again is with the squats, we're going to inhale on the way down. We're really focusing on getting our bottom back, and we're watching our knees. Again, our knees are not buckling in. So we're getting our bottom back. Right before we press to go back up, we're going to blow out through pursed lips and come on back up. You should be feeling quads, should be feeling glutes and hamstrings. And with that blowing out, many of us should be feeling our core activating. So as far as repetitions, when people start doing squats this way, they tend to get tired quicker, because they're not used to maybe firing those glutes as much. And we're really being mindful of our technique as we're doing this. So I have some of my clients that can only do 5 quality ones. That's okay. Start at 5 and then start to progress up where you're adding in, maybe each week you're adding in 2 repetitions. And so you're progressing up to maybe 10 to 15 reps. Once you get that, then you go back and try to do 2 sets of that. Once you get stronger, you can start to add some form of a dumbbell or a weight. And a lot of times it's just easier to hold it here as you're going down and up. So then you can start adding weight to your squats to help you get stronger.